So my name is Heather Miller. I'm a youth information specialist at Johnson County Library. Tiffany, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Tiffany, and I am a youth information specialist at Blue Valley Library.
And we are both on Instagram. I've been on for about a year. Tiffany, how long have you been on?
I've been on Instagram for 5 years, and I bookstagrammed under a previous account that I had, but I have launched a new one as a librarian. But I've been following bookstagrams forever. They're one of my favorite things to look at.
It is fun. And later we'll have a chance for everyone to share their handle in the chat so we can all follow each other and see our wonderful pictures. So what we're going to do is we've got 3 different topics to talk about, and then in between each topic, we will have a challenge. So like Tiffany said, have your mobile device ready. If you're on your mobile device, if you want to like move your camera or something to show a picture that you're going to take, that works as well. And then we'll have, like I said, 3 contests and a drawing at the end. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to look for when you're working on a bookstagram picture is props. You've got your book. You can either have a physical book, you can check out a library book, you can have your book like on your phone or your tablet. I've seen a lot of pictures like that and they work just fine. You don't have to have the actual book. But then you want to look at some of the props that you might put around your book. So a couple places to look for those if you're thinking about buying. You can go to the dollar store. They actually have a lot of really cool props, especially seasonal ones, if you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on that. I like to go to craft stores and kind of like pick through their clearance aisles. And again, like seasonal, like after fall, there's going to be a whole lot of like orange and red flowers and fun things like that. Yard sales, garage sales is another place. Like a broken picture frame actually can make a really good prop. Thrift stores work too, but also your own house. A lot of these things you can find just randomly around your house. So get creative. So speaking of around your house, and this is going to help you out in the challenges. So see if you can find a couple of these. But these are props that you probably have at home. So I've seen a lot, you can kind of see that picture like a blanket or a throw. A cutting board actually makes a really cool prop. A lot of people they kind of like that homey feel. So just like a little cup of coffee, something like that. Seasonal decor that you already have. You can go outside, you can find like really nice like fall leaves, things like that. Or people just take pictures outside like in front of a tree or a really cool building. So just kind of look around your surroundings and see if there's anything that might kind of match your book or match a theme that you're going for. We're going to talk about themes a little bit later. So yeah, you probably have a couple of these things at home. But if you're really serious about it, or if you're into other sorts of photography, there's some props that you might want to invest in. So I'll show you a couple of the ones that I have. So the first is a vinyl background or some sort of background. This is the one that I use on mine, and it's not too big. It's about the size of a piece of poster board, and it's double-sided. So there's kind of white wood on one side, blue wood on the other side. And I get this on Amazon for maybe $20. And I use it in all of my pictures. So they all kind of look the same on my feed. So when you see that, you're like, oh, that's a Heather picture. Flowers is another good one. I'll show you my box of flowers. And again, I get these a lot of like seasonal sales or even at the dollar store. So I just kind of have like a craft store box. And then I have all these flowers to choose from that I can kind of put around. I like really bright pictures, so ones that have a lot of color. Glass stones. I've got this prop knife that I got from Amazon. It was about $8. And I read a lot of like dark fantasy books, so that takes really good pictures. And then, like I said, an open frame. So I found this one at the craft store for about $8 again. So fairy lights, or you can also go online. Places like Redbubble, Society 6 have really cool book theme props. So speaking of props, we want you to look around your house and see if you can find some that will make a really quick picture. So the challenge, our first challenge, is to grab a book, ebook, library book, whatever you have, and then 2 to 4 props maybe around your house. take a picture and be prepared to show it. So again, you can hold up your phone or you can kind of move your camera around, whatever works for you. And then we will randomly pick one winner for a prize. Sound good? Okay. So we're going to give you 7 minutes and this will count down. So on your mark, get set, bookstagram. And I will say while you're looking, we'd be happy to share these slides as well if you want to let us know in the chat. We can share those with you later.
Headphones. What are they talking about?
I don't know. Nobody's talking.
No break. Maybe if you get off.
Remember, these don't have to be perfect right away. Just something you throw together. And later you can maybe remake it, post it on your Instagram. If you've already taken your picture, if you want to go ahead and share it, we would love to see them.
40 minutes.
2 minutes left. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so everyone else can share theirs.
If you have a picture that you want to share, if you want to bring up your video, you can show, like hold up your phone or what have you. Oh, very pretty. I love the Wonder one. Ooh, Bruja Born. Good use of flowers. Oh, cool. I love everybody's props.
Oh, wow. Those are awesome.
And that's a really good job, everyone, for such a quick
Yeah,
response and only having 7 minutes and not knowing you need to do it ahead of time. I love yours, Maria. That looks really good.
Nice.
Oh, Squirrel Girl. That's fun. It's amazing what you can find around the
It really
house. Aaliyah, yours is so pretty. Oh, I love Sarah and Rose. Alicia. Oh, I love that. You have what, 3 books in there? That looks really pretty. So this is an imperfect system for showing off everybody's creations, but thank you so much for sharing. And now it is time for us to draw a winner. And while you guys were working, I did a random number generator, and our first winner is Zoe Dial. So Zoe, if you can private message me, I'm Tiffany, your address, we will ship you out a prize.
Awesome. And make sure, we're going to get to hashtags a little bit later, but if you do share these on your bookstagram, be sure to use the hashtag, I think it's Talkbook to Me 2020, and tag us so we can see them. Okay, we ready? Let's move on.
Yes. Okay, so one thing that you might want to think about, especially if you're going to get serious about bookstagramming, is that you might want to have an individual bookstagram account that's separate from an account that you generally share your pictures in, like your private pictures and pictures with your friends and things. So a lot of those accounts tend to have themes or backgrounds associated with them. And themes can be created by things such as the filter that you apply to pictures. Some bookstagrams are all black and white. Some have brown hues, some have sepia tones. Some people only use a certain background. I'll show you one later where she uses a chalkboard where she draws on it every time. It's very cool. Some people have certain color themes and schemes, and then some people are very minimalist in their layouts, and some people are very cluttered, and they both have a really cool aesthetic appeal. It just depends what you're interested in. So it's something to think about. And Heather's just gonna need to, yeah, there we go. So earthy browns is a common theme for Bookstagram. There's a number of accounts that go with this. It creates a really cozy fall theme. You'll often have cups of coffee, cups of tea, blankets, anything that's just cozy. Next slide. Another thing that people will do in creating their aesthetic is similar backgrounds. So the one on the right you'll see is all white. So that's very simple. They just add their books on top. Books often have really colorful covers, so the books pop really well on white. So you know she can put together an Instagram picture that's very beautiful, very quickly. Like a lot of those only have a few pieces to them. So quick, but it really creates a very beautiful aesthetic feed. The one on the left is from Literary Llama. I talked about her previously. She does chalkboard. And so she draws designs and then puts the books in those designs. And those are on almost all of her feed. And then you have people that create really colorful feeds. You'll see some with all pastels. You'll see some full rainbow. You'll see some with color schemes like the one on the right, where it's kind of turquoise and orange and yellow. And they will carry those color schemes throughout. So if you go back years on some of these feeds, the color scheme stays the same. And you don't have to have it like that, but some people do choose to do that. And then another thing to think about when you're designing your pictures for bookstagramming is the perspective that you want to have on the images. So there's something called flat lay versus front facing. So flat lays are taken from directly above the picture. So you'll see in the lower left-hand corner there, those are all taken directly above the book image, and that's called a flat lay. And then the middle picture there of the Harry Potter and the book places, that's called front facing. So you're taking that front on, and you can get a little more depth of picture in those as far as height. And you can add stand-up pieces. Funko Pop dolls are very popular in Bookstagram. You see them literally all over the place. I think probably 60% of Bookstagram accounts use Funko Pop dolls in some way. So you can keep, something to keep in mind is whether you want to do front facing or flat lay, or you want to mix it up. You can definitely mix things up, but people will also, when they're mixing things up, want to consider how the feed is going to look like as a whole when you pull the whole thing up and look at it as a coherent whole. So you might want to alternate flat lay with front facing, or have individual rows all of one kind. And we will get to talking a little bit later about some apps that will allow you to view potential whole feed images for what you're putting together for your feed. The next type of feed that you might find for bookstagramming is called a lifestyle feel feed. And these usually have the bookstagrammer in them. So you actually get to know them as a person. You see their face. A lot of feeds, you don't even know what the person looks like. But you'll see, like on the one on the left, you see her shopping at bookshops, you see her cozied up in bed reading. So you kind of get the feeling of the person as a bookworm. And the one on the right is similarly. One of the hashtags, we'll talk about it later, but as Sock Sunday, it's called hashtag Sock Sunday. So you'll see a lot of people with their cool socks and their books. And that's another thing that you'll really see a lot of in lifestyle feeds. And if you have a ton of time and a ton of books, a really cool thing that a few people do and do really well is called like the Uber creative feed. And there's two people that you might want to take note of that do these. One is James Truduvino, he's on the right, and then his girlfriend, Elizabeth Sagan, also does these feeds. And so they create a lot of really aesthetically gorgeous Bookstagram pictures. Like you'll see him in the top right of his feed where he's created wings out of the book spines of books. And their feeds are just incredible. They take a ton of time, I'm sure, to put together, but they are super cool to look at. And you don't even have to go to the ends that they do to create cool feeds. Like you can create a clock-like image on the right, like it's a rainbow. You can move your books into different shapes like hearts. You see a lot of book stacks and all sorts of stuff like that. All right, and another thing I wanted to point out before we go into our next challenge is that your Bookstagram account doesn't need to be all books all the time. Some people like to alternate things. So this person, they have their Bookstagram pics on a white background, but then they also have bookish quotes, quotes from books. So you have books, you have quotes about reading books and, you know, like not enough time to get through my TBR pile and all that, or you have cool quotes from a book that they just read. So you can add quotes or memes and stuff like that into your feed to break things up, but you may want to consider doing it in a purposeful way such that your whole feed look is still very pretty. Okay, so that is James Truduvino again. I highly recommend his account. It's very cool. In that picture, he's used a ton of books to create a cool like wand, spreading book love out into the world. So your challenge for this challenge number 2 is to get your color on and create a colorful masterpiece. And that doesn't mean it needs to be like rainbows, but create a color aesthetic with this challenge. And we will give you 7 minutes again.
This makes me feel like I'm in the Wild West, just like riding a horse or something. Okay, 3 minutes. In the next minute, I'll stop the screen share again so we can share our pictures.
And we will send out this PowerPoint to everybody that was on the email list for this bookstagram. So don't feel like you need to like hurriedly dash down notes, especially in this next section where we give you some app recommendations.
Okay, you've got another minute to keep working, but if you want to go ahead and share what you've got, we'd love to see them. Let's see. Oh, I see one with like leaves and pumpkins. Perfect for fall. Oh, a book stack. I love those. Ooh, Elton John. I want to read that. That looks good. Tiffany, you're muted. Ooh, nice. I like the red with like the games. Very cool.
I was on mute and I was complimenting everybody. But I love these. I love the red with the gaming controls.
Yeah.
Oh, and the
This one's
purple.
blue.
Oh, Maddie, you must have lots of really good flowers around your house. It seems like you have good stuff, all sorts of good props already.
My mom and I both already do bookstagram kind of.
Oh, okay. I would
some of this
explain
is
it.
stuff that we've used in the past. So
Was that a Funko Pop doll I see, Aaliyah?
No, it was like a plushie thing I got from Fake Crate.
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah,
that
Oh, so
real?
you're already getting the book crates. The book crates are really good. Oh, Alicia, that's really pretty. I like the color scheme with the yellows. Is that purple too? Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Ready to chance to share? We ready for our next winner?
Yes, and while you guys were working, I drew our next winner, which is Malavika Aravand. So Malavika, if you can put your address in the private chat to me, we will get your prize out to you on Monday.
Okay, moving on. So we've got one more challenge.
Okay.
But now we're going to talk about apps.
Yes. So we wanted to talk about a few apps that are generally free to use. Sometimes if you use the upper echelon of what the app offers, they will require a fee, but some that you can start out playing with for free are, I will be pointing out. So the first one that I want to point out is Hootsuite. So Hootsuite is good for both Twitter and Instagram scheduling. And one of the great things about Hootsuite is that it allows you to schedule your posts weeks in advance. You can put in all the hashtags and whatever text that you want to go with your Instagram post within Hootsuite. But if you see on the right, you also have these channels. So you can have your scheduled channel, you can have what your feed is showing right now, but you can also follow certain hashtags, follow all the people that you follow, so you can see what they're posting all in one place. So it's a really cool place to kind of study bookstagramming. So I kind of recommend it for scheduling and studying what is currently hot and going on in Bookstagram. The next app that is really good is one for layout, and it is called Later. So earlier when I was talking about the different aesthetic fields for Bookstagram, I talked about kind of figuring out what pictures look best next to each other. And one way you can do that is through Later. So it allows you for free to load up to, I think, 42 pictures and tell them what day you want to post it on. And then it's going to create your feed for you so you can see how all those pictures look together. So you might decide that maybe that middle brown picture that's showing in that example is messing up your color scheme. So you're not going to show that one. So you would remove it from your feed. So it's a really good planning tool, especially if you want to get an overall aesthetic for what's going on. And then another good one is called Snapseed, and this is a filtering feed. It offers tons of filters. In the picture that you see here, they brighten it up to get rid of some of the shadows, which is really great for flat lays, especially if you're doing a flat lay without a photo box. But they also offer black and white, sepia tones. It will vignette the corners for you. It will do all sorts of things. One thing I didn't just mention was that a lot of bookstagrammers will use a photo box. So I'm just going to turn my camera around real quick and show you the photo box that I have. And so I have one that I was working on earlier in there. So this photo boxes allow you to control the lighting better for your pictures. It also keeps cats and dogs out of your filming if you are not ready to take a picture. So that's an investment if you want to go whole hog and go crazy with your bookstagramming. And the last app I want to recommend is called Pixelloop. So if you follow bookstagramming at all, you'll see a lot of people have started to go in for animation effects on some of their pictures. So they'll add like little beautiful butterflies coming out of fantasy bookstagrams that they've created, highlighting mainly fantasy books. But you can do some 3D effects. You can create cool lighting fields, and you can do all that in Pixelloop. This one does have a bit of a fee, but Heather, she uses it and she says it's well worth it, right, Heather? Mostly?
I think so, yeah. If you use it enough, like, it's worth it.
But it has really cool animation effects, like the butterflies. I've seen a lot of people use this bathtub thing where the water's sloshing and you can change the color of the water to match the book cover. It's really fun.
So I'm going to talk really fast about how I schedule my bookstagrams. So that's what mine looks like there on the left. So what I do, especially with props, because, and kind of like Tiffany was saying with the photo box, like if you're going to get all that stuff out, take all your pictures at once. Like don't try to take one every day and get all those props and make a mess. So if you have time, maybe on a weekend or like the last weekend of the month, like take as many as you want, and then you can schedule them in one of the apps to kind of get, you know, how you want your feed to look. So I actually bullet journal. So in the middle there is how I scheduled mine for September. And it's also nice to kind of cross it off, like once you've already posted it, like, yes, I accomplished something today. So let me move the screen so I can see. So I use Unum for my scheduling. It doesn't schedule them for you, but you can put in the caption, you can put in the layout, you can move stuff around so it looks good, and then it will upload it directly. The one in the middle, I believe, is just called Layout. It does the same thing. And then the last one, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Flip. It is good for stories. I don't do a lot of stories right now. I'm still trying to figure that out. But if you're really into that, that is a good app if you're working for those. So then we're going to talk about some hashtags. These are some that are pretty popular, ones that a lot of people follow. So if you want to get more followers, using those hashtags that people already follow, that's going to make them show up on other people's feeds. So like we just took a bunch of pictures with different colors. So you could hashtag blue books, white books, you could hashtag bookstack. Sunday Shelfie is a good one. I've used that a couple of times. Favorite author, if there's a book that you really love from an author and you want to give them a shout out, that's a good one. Bookish Maps is a good one. Hashtag TBR, you haven't read it yet, but it's waiting, so you can do that. And then if we read a lot of teen books, YA reads, teen books, things like that. If you have any good hashtags that you use, drop them in the chat. So these are some daily hashtags. Sunday, like Tiffany said, Sock Sunday or Sunday e-read. So if you're an e-book reader, you can drop that on a Sunday. Monday is Map Monday. So a lot of books have like maps on the inside cover that are also really beautiful. So you can share those. On my TBR Tuesday, so ones that you're trying to get through. Wednesday is a good one for audiobooks. Thursday, Beat the Backlist. Friday, Pintastic Friday. So if you've got some really beautiful ones you want to share. And if you've got a book stack, you can do Stacking Up Saturday. So Instagram does use an algorithm in order to show what shows up on your feed. So I've got some quick do's and don'ts if you want to try to beat that and make sure you get followers and get your pictures out there for people who want to look at them. The first one is to make sure you're active. So don't just post and then like ghost out. Go to other people's, leave a kind comment. A lot of people post questions of the day, so you can answer those. Or ask your own question and kind of talk to people in the comments. Be genuine. We're all here to support books and reading. So trying to, don't copy somebody else's, be creative, come up with your own theme. We've kind of talked about planning ahead, so taking lots of pictures at the same time, planning your feed. People are more likely to follow you sometimes if they see a feed that they like. So they see one picture, they go to your Instagram, you're like, oh, they've really thought about this. This looks nice. I want to see this every day. So being consistent like that will help you land followers, as well as posting on a schedule. So if you always post, at 6 o'clock in the morning and then 6 o'clock at night, people kind of tune into that and they'll be looking for your pictures. And then the last one is quality. Even if you don't post on a schedule, if you have a few great pictures, post those instead of several ones that you just took just to put out there. Yeah, that's pretty much it for those. But I would say the biggest thing is being genuine, like coming up with your own style. People will follow you if they want to, and they'll share it. One quick thing about book subscriptions. I saw a couple of things from subscriptions out there. And then our final prize giveaway today is an entire rainbow box. So that's one of the book subscriptions out there. But if you do subscribe, they usually have contests. So that's a whole week of bookstagramming that you've already scheduled because you have taken pictures for those ones. So I've got Fake Crate, Rainbow Book Box, what is that one? Owl Crate, LitJoy, Fairy Loot. If you want more information about those, definitely give me a shout out and I can hook you up. I subscribe to a lot.